So, owning a perfume business, I want to get into the back end a little bit of a perfume business and kind of explain to you guys costs. So it's very important for you to have all the costs in your shop broken down to the individual item price, right? So whatever you're buying, you need to know exactly how much that item costs you. So when you put things together, say for example, if I were to make a body butter, I have to know how much the body butter will cost per ml or per gram. I have to know how much the vitamin E oil is per gram. I need to know how much the container is, how much the label is. I need to know how much the packaging is going to cost. And if I were to send that in the mail, I have to know how much the envelope will cost, how much the shipping label will cost. So there's costs associated with everything. And then you have to kind of factor in how long does it take me to make a body butter? Take that time, and then you got to know how much that person who's making the body butter will get paid an hour, and then divide that by the time so you know exactly the labor cost of that item, right? How much is the labor cost to make that body butter? Now, when you're making these costs, know how much it is to get to your door. So you can't say body butter cost me X amount of dollars when really with shipping it costs a little bit more. So you have to make sure you factor in shipping with that cost to know how much it costs to get to your door. Once it's here, then you can calculate all that price together to understand that base price. And then you'll build your profit on top of all that, right? You also have to know how much you make, how much your expenses are a month inside of a store. So, for example, if my expenses here is about $4,000 or $5,000 a month with rent, bills, and what have you, then I know that I'll take that. Let's say 4,500 divided by 30, meaning that I have to make about $150 a day minimum to break even. On top of that, if I were to have an employee, I'd add the employee pay on top of that. And then I add the products pay, like whatever I spent in inventory, whatever I sold, I add that on top of that. And then whatever's extra would be my money, right? So you have to know your prices. And I'll show you guys how we do it here. So this right here will kind of give you a breakdown. For example, our MB plastic bags, the small one, 8 by 12, will cost us about 18 cents from China, right? So we're paying 18 cents per bag to get to our door, which is not bad. These are the bags that we give to the customers when they carry their stuff out. The wax paper, our bubble mailers, everything is listed so we know exactly how much the item will cost us, along with like the company. So for example, Amazon, right? We get this from Amazon. Restaurant Depot is where I get the black gloves from, right? Because it's cheaper than going through Amazon, but what have you. So you need to know how much all the costs are broken down. And if we get out of here, give me 1 second. And then if you come here, you kind of see the breakdown of how much these things would cost, right? So these costs are kind of important. You really have to know this stuff in order for you to properly run a business. You need to know your costs, because if you don't know your costs, you're going to lose big time. So not only are you having to kind of understand how to create perfumes or how to sell perfumes or how to market perfumes, you have to know the back end as well, which is the cost of each perfume. So when you're making your stuff, you know exactly how much that item will cost, your final cost, and then you know how much to profit on top of it. Because when you add your profit, you have to factor in, again, your expenses inside of the store that you got to pay, and then you have to factor in if you have any employees that did anything for you, and then you also have to factor in your profit, because you have to make a profit as well. You have to make sure you understand the costs of making that item. So that cost to make the item, again, if it's like if it takes you about, say, 5 minutes to make a perfume, and say you're paying somebody $20 an hour, divided by how many sets of 5 is inside of an hour, 12 sets of 5, so divided by 12, meaning it costs about $1.67 employee cost or labor cost to make a perfume that takes 5 minutes to make. So that's how we do things here. Hopefully that helps you guys running your perfume business.